Your front yard is the first thing everyone sees, and right now it's probably not making the impression you want. These 10 perennials transform boring front foundation plantings into stunning, envy-inducing displays that boost curb appeal and property value. You're about to discover the exact plants professional landscapers use to create those magazine-worthy front yards that make neighbors stop and stare. Before I reveal these curb appeal champions, hit that like button if you're ready to transform your front yard from forgettable to phenomenal. Subscribe to this channel for landscaping strategies that create professional-looking results without hiring expensive designers, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our front yard transformation guides. Your stunning front yard starts right now. All right, let's dive into the 10 best perennials that create breathtaking front house beauty. Here's what's wrong with most front foundation plantings. They're boring. Same tired shrubs everyone has, maybe some scraggly annuals that die midsummer, and lots of bare mulch. There's no color, no visual interest, no wow factor. Your home looks generic and uninviting, but your front yard is prime real estate. It's the first impression for visitors, potential buyers, and everyone passing by. Professional landscapers understand this and use specific perennials that deliver maximum impact with minimum maintenance. These aren't random plant choices, they're strategic selections based on height, bloom time, foliage interest, and year-round performance. The 10 perennials I'm sharing today are proven front yard performers. They provide color when and where it matters most. They stay proportional to residential foundations without overwhelming the space. They look good for extended periods, not just 2 weeks. And they require minimal maintenance, so your front yard always looks intentional and cared for. These are the plants that separate amateur landscapes from professional-looking designs. Plant number 1. Daylilies. The foundation. Workhorse daylilies are the backbone of professional front foundation plantings because they deliver reliable color, require minimal maintenance, and stay the perfect size for residential landscapes. The strappy foliage provides attractive texture year-round, and trumpet-shaped flowers in every color except true blue bloom for weeks in summer. Compact, reblooming varieties like Stella d'Oro stay under 2 feet tall, making them perfect for foundation plantings where you don't want plants blocking windows or overwhelming the space. The golden yellow flowers bloom from early summer through fall, providing months of color. Why they work for front yards. Daylilies form neat, symmetrical clumps that look intentional and designed, not wild or overgrown. The foliage emerges early in spring, greening up foundations when other plants are still dormant, and they're virtually indestructible, tolerating heat, drought, poor soil, and neglect while still looking good. Front yard design tips. Plant daylilies in groups of 3 or 5 along foundations, spacing them 3 feet apart. Use them to flank entryways, creating symmetrical frames for your front door. Or mass plant single varieties in sweeping drifts for bold impact. Mix bloom colors for variety, or stick with one color for cohesive simplicity. Key benefit. Daylilies are pest-free, disease-free, deer-resistant, and require 0 deadheading to look good. They're the ultimate set-it-and-forget-it foundation plant that always looks tidy and presentable. And they return bigger and more floriferous each year, improving your curb appeal annually. Caution. Avoid planting daylilies directly under windows where mature height might block views or light. Flank windows instead, or choose miniature varieties that stay under 12 inches for planting beneath windows. Plant number 2. Hostas, the shade foundation solution. Hostas are essential for shady front foundations on north-facing homes or under mature trees where flowering plants struggle. The bold, architectural foliage in shades of blue, green, gold, or variegated patterns provides dramatic visual impact from spring through fall without relying on flowers. The variety of sizes available means there's a hosta for every front yard situation. Miniatures stay under 12 inches for the tight spaces. Medium varieties reach 18 to 24 inches for standard foundation plantings, and large varieties like Sum and Substance grow to substantial specimen size for dramatic focal points. Why they work for front yards. Hostas provide bold foliage texture that reads clearly from the street, making visual impact even from a distance. The symmetrical mounding habit looks intentional and designed, and variegated varieties brighten shady foundations where color is often lacking. Front yard design tips. Use large, bold hostas as focal points at corners or flanking entries. Mass medium-sized hostas in groups of 3 to 5 along shady foundations. Edge plantings with miniature hostas or contrasting fine-textured plants like ferns for layered interest. Stick with one or two hosta varieties repeated throughout the front yard rather than collecting dozens of different types, which creates visual chaos. Key benefit: hostas provide dramatic foliage from spring through fall with zero maintenance beyond occasional watering. They're shade tolerant, making them essential for challenging north-facing foundations. And the bold leaves create strong visual statements that elevate the entire landscape design. Caution: deer love hostas. In areas with heavy deer pressure, choose deer-resistant alternatives like ferns, hellebores, or epimedium. Also, hostas are slug magnets in wet climates. Use organic slug bait or copper barriers if slugs become problematic. Plant number 3, coneflowers, the cottage charm. Classic coneflowers bring cottage garden charm and vibrant color to front foundations from midsummer through fall. The daisy-like flowers with prominent central cones come in shades of purple, pink, white, yellow, orange, and red, providing color options for any design scheme. The upright habit and sturdy stems mean coneflowers stand tall without staking, maintaining tidy appearance throughout the season. And the seed heads persist through winter, providing architectural interest and feeding birds when the front yard would otherwise be dormant. Why they work for front yards: coneflowers provide vertical interest and color at eye level, creating impact visible from the street. They bloom during midsummer when spring bloomers have faded and fall bloomers haven't started, filling the critical summer gap. And they're native plants that attract butterflies and bees, bringing movement and life to front yards. Front yard design tips: plant coneflowers in the middle layer of foundation plantings, behind shorter plants like daylilies or coral bells, but in front of taller shrubs. Use them in odd-numbered groups of 3 or 5 for natural-looking drifts. Stick with 1 or 2 colors rather than mixing many for cohesive impact. Place coneflowers where they'll be backlit by morning or evening sun, making the flowers glow and creating dramatic lighting effects. Key benefit: coneflowers are low maintenance, drought-tolerant once established, deer-resistant, and long-blooming. Modern varieties flower for months without deadheading. And the winter seed heads provide 4-season interest, keeping front yards looking designed even in dormant months. Caution: Japanese beetles sometimes feed heavily on coneflowers in midsummer. Handpick beetles early morning when they are sluggish, or use organic controls if populations are severe. Also, in very humid climates, powdery mildew can affect foliage late in the season. Choose mildew-resistant varieties. Plant number 4, Russian sage, the airy accent. Russian sage provides ethereal, cloud-like texture with silvery gray foliage and airy spikes of lavender-blue flowers from midsummer through fall. The light, fine-textured appearance contrasts beautifully with bold-leaved plants, creating dynamic visual interest in foundation plantings. The aromatic foliage releases a pleasant scent when brushed, adding a sensory dimension to front entryways. And the upright, vase-shaped habit provides vertical interest without blocking views or feeling heavy. Why they work for front yards: Russian sage adds movement and lightness to front plantings that can otherwise feel static and heavy. The silvery foliage brightens foundations and provides a neutral backdrop that makes other colors pop. And the lavender-blue flowers offer a soft, sophisticated color that complements almost any home exterior. Front yard design tips: use Russian sage as accent plants, not massed ground covers. Plant singly or in groups of 3 at corners, flanking entries, or breaking up runs of heavier, darker plants. Pair with bold-leaved plants like hostas or coral bells for textural contrast. Place Russian sage where it catches evening light, making the silvery foliage glow and creating magical twilight effects in front yards. Key benefit: Russian sage blooms for months without deadheading, tolerates heat and drought, is deer and rabbit resistant, and requires only 1 annual pruning in spring. The aromatic foliage naturally repels pests, and the plant is completely disease-free. Caution: Russian sage needs full sun and excellent drainage. In shade, it becomes leggy and sparse, and it requires hard pruning in early spring, cutting the entire plant back to 6 to 8 inches above ground. Without this pruning, it becomes woody and unattractive. Plant number 5, salvia, the vertical color. Spike. Perennial salvias produce tall spikes of vibrant tubular flowers in shades of deep purple, blue, pink, or white from late spring through fall. The vertical flower spikes add height and drama to foundation plantings, drawing the eye upward and creating strong architectural lines. Compact varieties like May Night, Caradonna, or Rose Marvel stay 18 to 24 inches tall, perfect for front foundations where you want color and height without overwhelming the space. Why they work for front yards. Salvias provide bold, saturated color that reads clearly from the street, making immediate visual impact. The vertical flower spikes add architectural interest and contrast with horizontal foundation lines. And the long bloom period means color when you need it most, throughout the entire growing season. Front yard design tips: plant salvias in the middle, to front layer of foundation beds where vertical spikes won't be hidden behind taller plants. Use them to create rhythm, repeating groups of 3 along foundations for visual flow. Pair with mounding plants like geraniums or coral bells to emphasize the vertical contrast. Choose flower colors that complement your home's exterior. Deep purple salvia pairs beautifully with light-colored homes. Pink varieties soften brick or warm-toned exteriors. Key benefit: salvias bloom for months with a single mid-season trim to encourage rebloom. They're heat-tolerant, drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, and attract hummingbirds and butterflies constantly. The aromatic foliage has a pleasant scent and naturally repels pests. Caution: salvias require excellent drainage and hate wet feet. Plant in well-draining soil or on slight slopes where water drains away from foundations. Also, after the first bloom flush, cut flower stems back to basal foliage to encourage bushier growth and strong fall rebloom. Plant number 6, sedum. The multi-season star. Upright sedums provide interest across all 4 seasons. Attractive blue-green or burgundy foliage spring through summer, spectacular pink or red flower clusters in late summer and fall, and architectural dried seed heads through winter. This is year-round curb appeal from a single plant. Varieties like Autumn Joy, Matrona, or Purple Emperor form substantial, symmetrical clumps 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, creating bold presence in foundation plantings. Why they work for front yards. Sedums provide color and interest when most perennials are dormant. Late summer and fall flowers bloom when spring and early summer plants have finished, extending the color season. And the winter seed heads keep front yards looking designed and intentional, even in snow. Front yard design tips: plant sedums as focal points at corners or flanking entries where their late season color and winter structure will be most visible. Mass in groups of 3 to 5 for bold impact. Pair with spring and early summer bloomers to create succession of color throughout the year. Place sedums where winter seed heads will be backlit by low winter sun, creating dramatic silhouettes and shadows. Key benefit: sedums are virtually indestructible, tolerating heat, drought, poor soil, and neglect. They're pest-free, disease-free, deer-resistant, and require only 1 annual cutback in spring. The late-season flowers attract pollinators when food sources are scarce, and the winter seed heads feed birds. Caution: sedums need full sun for compact, sturdy growth. In shade, they become leggy and flop open, and they must have excellent drainage. Wet soil causes root rot that kills plants quickly. Plant number 7, coral bells, the colorful foliage gem. Coral bells deliver vibrant foliage color that rivals any flower, providing year-round interest in shades of burgundy, purple, lime green, orange, silver, and multicolored combinations. The neat mounding habit stays compact at 8 to 12 inches, perfect for front-of-foundation plantings or edging. Modern varieties offer incredible diversity in leaf color, shape, and pattern, allowing you to create entire color schemes using just coral bells foliage. Why they work for front yards. Coral bells provide non-stop color from spring through fall without relying on brief bloom periods. The foliage is the star, meaning your front yard always looks vibrant and designed, and the compact size makes them perfect for tight spaces, narrow beds, or planting beneath windows. Front yard design tips: use coral bells as edging along foundation beds, creating colorful borders that define planting areas. Mass single varieties in groups of 5 to 7 for bold sweeps of color, or create tapestry effects by mixing complementary foliage colors like burgundy and lime green. Pair coral bells with plants that have contrasting textures, like fine-textured grasses or bold-leaved hostas, to maximize visual impact. Key benefit: coral bells provide color for months without deadheading or special care. They're shade-tolerant, making them valuable for north-facing foundations, and the variety of colors available allows unlimited design creativity. Caution: coral bells can heave out of soil during winter freeze-thaw cycles. Check plants in early spring and press crowns back into soil if needed. Some varieties are short-lived, lasting 3 to 5 years. Simply replace them with fresh plants. Plant number 8, catmint, the soft purple. Cloud. Catmint forms billowing mounds of aromatic gray-green foliage covered in spikes of lavender-blue flowers from late spring through fall. The soft, cloud-like appearance adds romance and movement to front foundations, creating a cottage garden feel that's both charming and sophisticated. Compact varieties like Walker's Low or Cat's Meow stay 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, filling space without overwhelming or blocking views. Why they work for front yards. Catmint softens hard foundation lines and architectural edges with its mounding, billowing habit. The continuous bloom from spring through fall provides reliable color throughout the growing season, and the aromatic foliage releases pleasant scent when brushed, creating sensory appeal along walkways and entries. Front yard design tips: plant catmint along walkways where people will brush against it and release the aromatic oils. Use it to spill over as edges of raised foundation beds, softening hard, retaining walls. Mass in groups along foundations for bold impact, or use as repeating accents every 6 to 8 feet for rhythm. Pair catmint with plants that have contrasting colors and textures, like burgundy coral bells or yellow coreopsis, to make all colors more vibrant. Key benefit: catmint blooms for months without deadheading, though a mid-season shearing encourages even heavier fall bloom. It's heat-tolerant, drought-tolerant, deer-resistant, rabbit-resistant, and pest-free. The aromatic foliage naturally repels insects while attracting beneficial pollinators. Caution: cats are attracted to catmint and may roll in young plants, potentially damaging them. Protect with temporary wire cages if neighborhood cats visit. Also, catmint needs full sun for compact growth. In shade, it becomes leggy and sparse. Plant number 9, Black-Eyed Susan, the cheerful native. Black-eyed Susans bring bright, cheerful, golden yellow flowers with dark centers to front foundations from midsummer through fall. The bold, sunny color is visible from the street, creating immediate curb appeal. Compact varieties bred for residential landscapes stay under 2 feet tall. The native status means black-eyed Susans support local ecosystems, attracting butterflies and bees that bring movement and life to front yards. Why they work for front yards. Black-eyed Susans provide bright, optimistic color that makes homes feel welcoming and inviting. The golden yellow pairs beautifully with most home exteriors, from brick to siding to stone. And the long bloom period carries color through the critical late summer when many spring bloomers have faded. Front yard design tips: plant black-eyed Susans in bold masses for maximum impact. A single plant gets lost, but groups of 5 to 7 create attention-grabbing displays. Use them in the middle layer of foundation beds where flowers will be visible above shorter plants. Pair with purple or blue flowers like salvia or catmint for complementary color combinations that make both colors more vibrant. Key benefit: black-eyed Susans are native plants that support local wildlife and pollinators. They're drought-tolerant once established, heat-tolerant, pest-free, and disease-resistant in most climates. Modern varieties bloom without deadheading, requiring minimal maintenance. Caution: black-eyed Susans self-seed prolifically. Deadhead to prevent volunteer seedlings throughout front beds or embrace the naturalized cottage garden look. They can also develop powdery mildew in humid climates late in the season, though this is primarily cosmetic. Plant number 10, hardy geranium, the cottage garden. Staple: hardy geraniums, also called cranesbill, produce delicate 5-petaled flowers in shades of blue, purple, pink, or white from late spring through summer, often reblooming in fall. The mounding habit and attractive foliage, which develops good fall color, make them valuable foundation plants even when not blooming. Varieties like Roseanne bloom for months continuously, providing reliable color throughout the season. Why they work for front yards. Hardy geraniums provide soft cottage garden charm that makes homes feel approachable and welcoming. The delicate flowers contrast beautifully with bold architectural elements, softening hard edges. And the mounding habit fills space efficiently, creating full, lush plantings. Front yard design tips: use hardy geraniums as ground covers beneath taller plants like roses or shrubs, creating layered foundation plantings. Plant in groups of 3 to 5 in the front layer of beds where flowers will be visible, or use as edging along walkways where the mounding habit can spill onto pavement, softening hard lines. Pair with plants that have vertical form, like salvia or grasses, to emphasize the mounding contrast. Key benefit: hardy geraniums bloom for extended periods, with varieties like Roseanne flowering for 4 to 5 months continuously. They're deer-resistant, relatively pest-free, and low maintenance. The foliage often develops attractive fall color in shades of red, orange, or burgundy, extending seasonal interest. Caution: hardy geraniums can become floppy and open-centered after the first bloom flush. Shear plants back by 1/3 after flowering to encourage dense, compact regrowth and strong fall rebloom. Also, check cold hardiness before purchasing. Most are hardy to zone 5, but some varieties are only hardy to zone 7. Section 11. Professional Design. Principles for front yards. Now that you know the best plants, here's how to arrange them like a professional. Layer by height. Create depth by planting in 3 height zones. Tall plants, 18 to 36 inches, go in back near the foundation. Medium plants, 12 to 24 inches, fill the middle layer. Short plants, 6 to 12 inches, edge the front. This layering creates visual depth and showcases all plants. Use odd numbers. Plant in groups of 3, 5, or 7, not even numbers. Odd-numbered groupings look more natural and intentional than even numbers, which feel static and formal. Repeat for rhythm. Choose 3 to 5 plant varieties and repeat them throughout the front yard, rather than using dozens of different plants. Repetition creates visual rhythm and cohesion that reads as professional design. Balance, not symmetry. Aim for balanced plantings on either side of the entry, but don't create mirror image symmetry unless your home's architecture demands it. Asymmetrical balance feels more natural and less rigid. Frame the entry. The front door is the focal point. Flank it with matching plants or create layered plantings that draw the eye toward the entrance. Consider bloom succession. Choose plants with staggered bloom times so something is always flowering throughout the growing season, not just all at once in May. Include evergreens. Add some evergreen shrubs or perennials for winter structure and year-round interest. Front yards need visual appeal 12 months a year, not just during growing season. And there you have it. The 10 best perennials for creating stunning front house beauty that boosts curb appeal and property value. Plant smart, design with intention, and your front yard will rival professionally landscaped homes. Thanks for watching this front yard transformation guide. If this video inspired you to transform your front foundation plantings, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to this channel for more landscaping strategies that create professional results without hiring expensive designers. Comment below and tell me which perennial you'll use to upgrade your front yard first. I'll see you in the next video with even more curb appeal secrets. Happy front yard gardening!